What up, though? This your boy Boss Money, aka Hefe Dinero, aka Swagger Collection. And if you're looking to become an owner operator, just driving around Sprinter vans and cargo vans, and want to know how I got started, then this is the video you want to watch. But before we jump into this, you already know what you got to do: like, comment, subscribe, share. Go follow all of my other social media pages too while you at it. You feel me? Well, let's jump into this.
Splash. Boss Money. F.A. Dinero.
DJ, you ready? Let's go.
She got a fat ass and I like it. She got a fat ass and I
So like I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to be covering how to become an owner-operator driving Sprinter and cargo vans, getting on the road. Some of the things that I am going to touch on. I'm not going to go too depth into these videos because I don't want to make the video too long. I'm going to create, separate, videos, regarding each of these topics, which is why you got to subscribe. But some of those topics are going to be about, touching on LLCs and, just getting the business started, the business name and everything started. Auto loans. I'm gonna touch on insurance, the cost, who got the cheapest, the dimensions, like what some of these companies require. How long and how tall the van should be. All the different vans that's out there. Talk about contracts, how to get them, where to find them, as well as apps, how to find jobs on the apps. But keep watching. We're going to get into this. So when did I start thinking about it? I actually started thinking about, wanting to get on the road and start making money probably like a couple years ago. Like I was actually thinking about doing Amazon Relay. But I honestly didn't really want to drive semi trucks for real. Like I didn't want to be doing cross country deliveries like that. Like I even created a business name, an MC, got a dot number, and then I was like, no, I don't really want to do this. So, now, a couple weeks ago, I started thinking about, how else, what different ways I can get on the road. I actually think I came across some YouTube video, just scrolling on YouTube. And then I tuned in to somebody's video, and he was talking about how he made, a good amount of money, driving cargo vans, just like, you drive a semi truck delivering, goods from company to company and stuff like that. He said you can do the same thing with doing, again, a cargo and Sprinter van. And that just caught my attention. And then he said you didn't need a CDL to do it. You don't need a CDL to do it. You don't need a dot or MC number. But I will say in the future, you might want to, consider getting at least a dot number. And I could explain, go in more in detail on that, later on. But yeah, I decided, start doing some research on it. This is probably like I already started doing my research probably like maybe a month ago, just on YouTube, hearing other people's stories and stuff like that. Then I came across one video. One video to do is like, if you really want to do this, don't go all in. Like, don't go buying a truck first. Don't go putting insurance on the truck. He said, this thing just stuck with me. He said, find you some contracts first. I know some of y'all thinking like, find the contracts first. What you mean find the contracts first? How you go get a contract? You ain't even got a truck. You ain't got insurance. You just started your business name. Look, I'm gonna tell you all of that. But first, let's talk about, starting a business name and stuff like that. I'm just gonna touch, a little bit on, how to get an LLC and stuff like that. So what you want to do is, just go to your state website, figure out how to get an LLC, come up with the business name, you do that. As well as, you want to get the EIN number. EIN number works as like a social security number. So a lot of these contracts, if you don't have a business name, they go ask for your personal information. And you don't really want to put all your personal information. This is a business. You are an owner at this point. If you want to be a business owner, you need, a business name. You need the EIN number. So you want to get you an LLC, EIN number, Duns and Bradstreet. You want to do the whole nine. I ain't gonna go too in depth with, all of that. I could say that, if you guys want me to, I could say that for another video. But yeah, you want to get the basic stuff, LLC, because they go ask for that on the contract. You go ask for your EIN or your SSN number. You don't have to give both. Just give them your EIN number. Like, you don't want to be putting your social security on everything like that. So get your LLC, EIN, Duns and Bradstreet. Once you get that you already, ahead. You already a step in right now. So back to the contract part. So this is what you want to do. This is what I did. So follow along. So what you want to do is first, before you even get to, looking for a contract and stuff like that, first you want to find you a truck, on the website. You don't have to go in person. Just find you a truck. They got standard trucks. Standard truck is the low roof. So that's the low roof cargo vans, the regular cargo vans, look like the Scooby-Doo bus, kind of like that. Then they got the mid roof, got a little higher roof. And then they got the high roofs, like the Amazon trucks. They got the very high roofs. Of course, it's a price difference. Of course, they come in certain sizes. They got like a small, a medium size one, and a longer size one. So you just want to look, get an idea, maybe price stuff out, see how much the trucks is. But the most important thing, what you want to do when you're looking on a website, is get a VIN number. Get the VIN number. Most of these car companies that selling these trucks, they gonna have the VIN number. So you don't buy no new, you don't need no new truck. Like you don't even need to be looking for no new truck. You can go look on these used car dealership websites. These trucks can last up to like 400,000 miles. So go to like a used car dealership website, find you a truck, see a truck, get the VIN number, say that VIN number. It ain't gotta be the one that you actually want to get. You just need that VIN number. So you get the VIN number. Then the next thing you want to do is go call insurance, find insurance. So now you got to look for insurance. This is the part that everybody loves. Like, but insurance. So, we're not buying insurance. We're still not buying nothing. We're not buying no car yet. We're not buying no insurance. But we just want to get an idea of pricing. You know your pockets. I don't know your pockets. So you gonna have an idea of how much you want to pay or what's the monthly going to be. So that's why you want to call insurance, and that's why you need that VIN number, because the insurance company, they can't really give you a accurate quote, accurate estimate until you have they know what type of car you want to insure. So that's why it's important you want to have like a VIN number. So get you that VIN number, then call insurance. So you could call Progressive, Geico, State Farm, whatever. But you want to get commercial. It has to be commercial insurance, commercial trucking insurance. So some companies got it differently. So some companies, it's commercial, just regular commercial insurance, and then it's commercial trucking insurance. What you want is commercial trucking insurance. Like I have Geico. When I called around, pricing depends on where you live, what year the car is, your area and stuff like that. So I went with Geico. That was the cheapest for me. I don't know who might be cheapest for you, but that's why you want to call a few companies, get a pricing. Now I'm going to tell you this now. Insurance is going to be high. That's probably going to be majority of your cost is insurance. So you want to call. You don't want to just call one company and think about it. You might hear and look, don't do it on the website. Do not do it on the website. The website is not accurate at all. Because when I did it on the website, they was talking about 5,000 a month. I'm like, oh no. So that's why you gotta call. Like I don't care how long to wait, call. If you want an accurate number, call these insurance companies. Talk to a real rep, and they will give you an accurate number. I could jump more into insurance, but of course, I just want to touch on stuff right now, and I could create a separate videos and stuff like that, about the insurance. But I will tell you that most of these companies require you to have, it's kind of standard from what I've noticed. They're going to require you to have $1 million coverage, which is why it's so high. Then they're going to have you have $100,000 cargo insurance with $1,000 deductible. That's pretty much standard for all the contracts that I got. Like all of them require those three things, and they want to be listed as an additional insurer, certified insurance holder, and stuff like that. So insurance is going to be high, and I'm talking about 1,000 to 1,500 a month, depending on your record too, and all of that. It could be higher, could be a little bit lower, but starting out, it's most likely gonna be 1,000 plus a month. So, but don't let that, deteriorate you, or turn you away from trying to jump into this, because you're going to make some money on this. So, 1,000 a month is not too bad, because you could probably make 1,000 in a day or 2 days doing this. So you find the car, you got the car, got an estimate, got an idea of, how much the monthly might be. Then you got the insurance. You got an idea of how much insurance is going to be. Now I'm going to talk to you about how to find these contracts. So now we're going to talk about how to find these contracts. That's the main thing, is getting the contract. Like, I see so many people buy trucks, buy these vans, and don't have not one contract, no job. So they paying the monthly and don't even got a job. That's why it's important to follow the first 2 steps. Like I said, don't buy nothing. Don't buy no van yet. Don't buy no insurance. A lot of people might not even tell you that. But I'm gonna keep it real with you, because did my research on this, and I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos. Came across one person out of all the videos I watched. One person said, he was like, "Don't buy no van. Don't buy no insurance. Get you a contract first." So how you find these contracts? This is what you want to type in. You don't wait. You don't want to just type in cargo sprinter van jobs. You don't want to do that, because what's gonna pop up is stuff like Amazon Flex, Roadie, where you delivering, customer home goods and stuff to their house. Like, you're not trying to do no company to customer type of work. You trying to do company to company type of work. So this is what you go type in: owner, operator, cargo sprinter van jobs. That owner operator makes a big difference in your search. So once you type that in, companies will start popping up, in your area, around you. They're gonna pop up, and you go see like, and you could Google search it. You could type it in on Google, and they go pop in. The next site you want to use is Indeed. Indeed. I think I found majority. I think I found all of my contracts off of Indeed by typing in that same thing: owner, operator, sprinter, cargo van jobs. And you could also do that if you semi truck, box truck. You could type that in too. That's how you go find these logistic companies and stuff that's looking for people. To like dispatch company that's looking for drivers, that's looking for people, because you're still an owner, but you're kind of using these companies for their MC and dot number. Because remember, I said you don't need that to jump in to get started on it. You don't. So you're using because you're using their info. So you type in that, and you're gonna find your jobs. So I know a lot of y'all probably like, all right, so we found the companies that's looking for drivers. Now what do we do? So this is what you want to do. You want to look at the job descriptions. So because we all know Indeed, has some fake jobs on there. But the way I was able to tell the difference is because one is more detailed than the other one. So the real ones, they're going to list out everything that you need to have, to join them. Like, what I mean is, they're going to tell you about the insurance. They go say, hey, we require, like, under the requirements of, like, we require you to have $1 million coverage, $100,000 cargo insurance, $1,000 deductible. Most of them going to say that right there. That's going to be the requirement that they want for insurance. Then they're going to tell you the dimensions that they want the cargo area should be. So it might say we want it to be 125 inches long, 54 inches wide, and maybe 64 inches high. They're going to list that. They're like these jobs, the real jobs, going to list, like the real dispatch and logistics companies going to list the requirements that they want you to have to, deliver for them. They're going to list the dimensions. They're going to put the insurance requirements, and they're also going to tell you the range that they will pay per mile for when you make these deliveries. So some going to say 70 cents to 90 cents a mile, which is kind of terrible, but we'll jump into that later. Some going to say 90 to $1.30 and stuff like that. They're going to list like the pay, what they're willing to pay, a range. They'll give you a range of what they're willing to pay per mile for when you do these deliveries. So that's how you tell the difference. So once you find out the difference and find the real ones, next they're going to do is they're going to have either a link, where you could, submit them, or an email where you could send them, and they're going to have their phone number. You can call them. If you want a quick response, call them. Email them too. Do all three. If they got a apply thing, apply. If they got an email. If they got a phone, call them. Like, do all three if you want a quick response. But I think I did all emails. I think I did call one company, but they got back to me probably like not the next day, 2 days later, and you're going to talk to them. They go say, hey, did you got such and such van? They go ask you what type of van you got. They go ask you, are you able to get the insurance or what type of insurance you got? And you just go say yeah. You go say yeah to all that. You got all this stuff already. Then they're going to send you the contract. It literally that simple. They're going to ask you if you got the van. They're going to ask you where you at. What area you in. You're going to say, do you got the van? And when you say you got the van, they're going to ask you, how the dimensions. Say all of the dimensions that they got listed on their website. That's what you do. You say the dimensions that what they got on their website, and then they go send you the contract to your email. They go ask you for your email, and they go send you the contract. Simple. It's really that simple. So once they send you the contract, you just want to look at it. They go send you the contract. They go ask you to provide pictures of the van, the outside, the cargo area. They go have you use a tape measure to show the length, the height, the width of the cargo area. They're going to, talk about the insurance, what they need you to do. They're going to ask for, your business name, LLC, bank account, to do direct deposits. Like, they go send you everything, right then and there. But you don't have to respond. Like, you could wait a little bit, give yourself time to get all the stuff that you already said you done got, that you already had. So, you don't got to respond that quick. And I also suggest, because these logistic companies and dispatch companies not going to have daily loads. Some of the companies will, some of them won't. So I say get at least 4 companies to send you their contract. Lock in 4 contracts. You lock in 4 contracts, you good to go. You could go shop for a van now. So we ready to go van shopping now. So look, like I said earlier, you don't need no new van for this. A new van go cost you about 40 and up. Really not even 40. A nice used one is still 40. Really, these vans can cost about 60, 80K. So you don't need no brand new van. I mean, unless you got it like that, but you don't need it. Like again, I said, if you maintain these cargo vans, so these vans can last up to 400,000 miles. Now, I will say the sweet spot, for a used van, like when it comes to mileage, I say kind of don't go above 180,000 miles. Try to stay under that. And a lot of these companies are also going to list the year. Right now, I think the cutoff year, so some of them go to 2010, but you really kind of don't want to ban that old, because a lot of companies do require at least 2015 and up. I say the sweet spot for that is try to get a 2016 or up. Just stay like a year ahead of them. Kind of like that. That's what I say. If the company requirements say 2015, I say get 2016 and up. Feel me? So yeah, take those. Remember, I said the job requirements. Tell you the dimension in the description. They also go tell you the dimensions. And the height, what the height should be. Of your van. So you take in all of that information. You take the dimensions with you. You take you a tape measure. Take you a tape measure with you when you go to these car dealerships, looking for a cargo van and stuff. Measure it right there, and take your pictures right there. Don't even, you just window shopping right now. You still ain't even purchased a van, but you can still get your pictures out the way that these contracts, asking for. Take all your pictures, the outside of it. They're gonna ask for the front, side, the back, the inside, the measurements. Take all your pictures right then and there. Even if you're not ready to, even if you're not ready to make your purchase, and say if a company is kind of pressuring you to, get this information to them, at least you can have your pictures already. If you still want to keep that ball moving, with these contracts, at least you have your pictures. So take you a tape measure, make sure your phone charged up, take some pictures, take your pictures. And it's gonna tell you in the contract and stuff, what pictures they need, you to take. So back to the vans. I say stay away from low roofs. A lot of companies that I've seen, kind of require you to have the higher roof. And I'll also say lengthwise, when it comes to lengthwise, I say try to get 120 inches and longer. Pause. 120 inches and longer for the cargo length. And the height, you want to, you don't need a high roof. You for sure don't need a high roof. I think personally, the sweet spot is the mid roof, the medium roof. Low, I feel like it's too low. Like a lot of companies don't want you to have a low roof. High, the price gonna be higher. So the high roof ones, the price is gonna be high. Those mostly are like the Mercedes Benz. Like I said, Amazon, they use the high roof cargo vans. I mean, if you got it like that, you want to get the high roof, go ahead. But I went with the medium roof. I'm gonna show you videos of me going to buy, me signing signing for mine and stuff like that. So yeah, so you figure out your price range, and, go like that, start applying. So next I'm going to talk about these auto loans. So now we're talking about the auto loan. So I wish somebody would have told me this, or I wish I would have came across a video like this. You cannot use a regular auto loan and go into the dealership. Like if you don't want to use the dealership company, because when you use the dealership companies, their interest rates are a lot higher than you going to like your bank or whatever, or finding your own auto loan person. Like I was going to go with Navy Federal. But of course, if you go with your bank, you got to have a business account set up with them already, like, because you need a business auto loan. You can't use a regular auto loan. So I went and got a regular auto loan approved, took it to the dealer, was like, hey, you when you got your own loan, you could negotiate better, because that's technically you paying cash to the dealership, and they sometimes a cut. So I went in there, I was like, all right, you want $20 for the van? I got 18 for you cash. And he looked at it, he was like, I honor the 18, but you can't use this because it's a regular auto loan. I'm like, what? So I didn't know you can't use a regular auto loan to buy these type of vans. It have to be a commercial auto loan. So if you got a bank account, if you got your business and stuff set up already and got a business, checking account, if you got Navy Federal, you gotta use a business auto loan to get approved. If not, I mean, you could always use the car dealership, person, financial people who they go to, but the interest rate probably going to be higher. So that's the key thing, is you can't use a regular auto loan. It has to be a business auto loan, commercial auto loan. So now you done found out what van you like. You done found out what commercial auto loan company you want to go with. And remember, these checks that they give you for the commercial auto loan, they last 90 days. So you still ain't got to use it. You still ain't made a purchase yet. So now you got the truck, you found the truck that you like. You want to take that truck VIN number You want to call that insurance company again and give them the correct VIN number now and get a more accurate price because insurance rates go based off the year of the car and stuff like that. So now you want to get that. I mean, the quote ain't gonna be too much different than the fake VIN number that you went and find. It's gonna be pretty much close. Like if the years and saying not that too much different, or it's not going to be that much of a change. Maybe like a less than $100 change, the difference. So now you got the van you've been looking at. You got your auto loan. You approved for your commercial auto loan. You got the most accurate insurance quote. Now you got to do your math. You got to figure out what you need to make per day or what you need to make per week to be able to pay your insurance, to be able to pay your car note, and to be able to still make a profit or living. You need to figure out how many how much money you need to make to be able to afford all this. Like I said, you don't want to be stuck. You want to make sure this is the right move. I mean, them contracts, you got your 4 contracts already. You're going to make money. Like they're going to call you Monday through Friday. They'll call you on Saturdays too. I mean, most companies you don't deliver on the weekends, but you can still pick up. They still might have you pick up an order on the Saturday, but you ain't gotta deliver it to Monday. So you're going to get. It's really about how much you want to invest in this. Like you go make the money. They go give you the routes. You got 4 companies, so you go have something every day. And it all depends on how far you want to drive. Like I said, it's 3 type of drivers. It's OTR, which is over the road. It's regional. Regional is over the road is when you go on, from Michigan to Texas, like the long road. That's what we call OTR. Regional is more so you're still going out of state, but it's more so in your region. Like if you're in Georgia, you might go to Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, stuff. Close by states, and then it's local. So it's those 3. So of course you make the most money doing OTR. You make the second most doing regional. You make the lowest doing locals, and with locals, it don't be that many. Yeah, it don't be that many. It's some that come through, but it's not going to be a whole lot. And local really means your whole state, your state. It don't mean just your city you're by. You could go from if you're in Michigan, you could go from Detroit all the way up to Grand Rapids. That's considered local. That'd be a good paying. You ain't got to go out the state for real. But you're going to make money. So you need to figure out your finances. You need to figure out what you need to do to be able to make a profit and pay off your bills and stuff. And that all comes down to you. What drives you want to take. You want to do OTR, regional, or local. I will say personally, because someone just asked me this, he said, could you work a 9 to 5 and do this? Personally, I say yes and no. If you really want to make some good money, you down there got to be either working remote or you got to be all in on this if you really want to make a killing, make some good money. If you still want to work a 9 to 5, still kind of skeptical about this, I don't know. I don't think I don't think you're gonna make a great for profit, especially when you paying $1,000 a month on insurance and probably another $300-400 on a car. Like I don't know. I don't think it'll be as beneficial unless you can find you a driver. So if you can find you a driver and that's the thing. If you find you a driver, you gotta add that driver to your insurance, which is gonna make the insurance go up even more. And you gotta trust that driver enough. Like you don't want no young driver because insurance gonna go up even more again. You want, a well-established driver, clean record, and you gotta come up with a month. Maybe you can pay them like 700, 800, maybe $1,000 a week. Just driving. But you gotta be dedicated. And you gotta be willing to do the long routes. Since you paying him, $1,000 a week. Like if you hire a driver, you want your driver to be able to take the long routes, to be okay with taking them long routes. maybe you could pay him $800 a month to cover his hotel stay if he's staying, got to stay somewhere far out. But that's why I say yes and no. So, and finding a loyal driver might be hard to do. So it's either you kind of got to be all in on this, or at least got some type of leeway to your schedule to be able to, make some profit doing this. But hey, that's all I got for you guys today. Of course, I can't go more into depth about some of the topics that I did touch on. If you want me to, just comment, let me know. But hey, subscribe. Let's get this money.
Shaking like a sauce shaker, yeah, we got the big paper. Freaky ass dick, yeah, she off the percolator. She throw that ass back damn near a